The Republic of South Africa has been a well-kept secret, but all that is changing. Hi, I'm Jake de Boer, and today on the Travel Magazine, we will show you why South Africa is fast becoming one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world. Tell me about Pretoria.
Well, Pretoria is, one of the big cities in South Africa, the Union Buildings. And that's a landmark, and that's where 6 months of the year the Parliament is. And it's a beautiful city with the jacaranda trees, and it's a university city also.
If you only have 2 or 3 days or even 1 day to see a game reserve, a private game reserve, and in this case Londolozi is a must, because the rangers will take you and show you, if you're fortunate, even a kill, but you'll see the big five in a very small area.
We take them out in 2 game drives in a day. We take them for 3.5 hours in the morning, 3.5 hours in the afternoon. We've got the big 5 here, leopard, lion, rhino, buffalo and elephant. They can expect, generally we can show the guests 3, maybe 4 out of the big 5 in a 2-day stay. And then a lot of general game, your antelope, wildebeest, zebra, giraffe, got a large variety.
Trekking through the park is both exciting and adventurous in itself, but nothing can describe the feeling once you find one of the big 5 animals and get close enough to almost touch them.
We do get really close to the animals. We've never endangered them, we never threatened them at all, but what we have done is we've moved around them, not doing any harm to them, and so they become associated to us and habituated to the fact that we're not going to do anything to them, so they do come very close. But we have seen them kill, we do see them hunting. That's where the dangerous part comes in.
We will be back with more of South Africa just after this, so don't go away. You know, Lost City is only about an hour and a half from Johannesburg. So if you arrive in Johannesburg, you can go straight onto Lost City. And you know how beautiful is Lost City? It's all this architecture and it's part of Sun City.
Tsavo was one of the biggest taskers at Kruger's National Park. Tsavo died, when I'm not mistaken, 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago. And Danny Diago went to the Kruger's National Park, you know, collected the bones, set up, you know, a whole cast, you know, of Tsavo, the exact size of that particular elephant. Danny Diago wanted to represent, you know, the wildlife that is so famous for southern Africa. So he created, you know, the cheetah chasing the gazelle, and you can see this in front. Then the second big fountain you have, because that's the sable fountain. As you know, the sable is a very, very famous animal here. You know? So he made them all in the exact replica, the way they are and the way they live in the wild. So it's for somebody who comes here. We wanted to represent not just the animals there, but as well when you see the surroundings, you know, the greenery, the trees, the rainforest is what we have, the orchid forest is what we have. And as you can see, we spent a lot of time on that. And here again, we hired a very, very famous designer there, you know, who walks around here there without plans and who created that all there.
The palace owes its architecture to no country, although its roots are deeply embedded in the soil of Africa and has an African theme. There's a hint of the East in the graceful domes, a whisper of Europe in the polished marble, and a remembrance of Baroque Vienna in some of the painted ceilings. These elements are what make the palace truly unique.
We had 68 Italian marble layers here who shaped the marble, who stayed with us, who laid the mosaic, who did the railing, as what you see the railing at the Crystal Court, that is all hand carved, it's all hand blown crystal from Poland.
The sheer luxury of the palace is vividly demonstrated in the rooms themselves, with each suite literally fit for a king. From water activities to just relaxing on beaches, Lost City has something for everyone. The town of Paarl.
Laat ons Afrikaans praat. Verstaan je Afrikaans?
Ik kan baie goed Afrikaans verstaan. Mika said, let's speak Afrikaans. Do you understand it?
Because Paarl is where the whole, you know, the monument stands for the language.
Paarl means pearl, and it comes from one of the 3 granite rocks that don't exactly tower above the town, but are present wherever you are in Paarl. When the valley was discovered first by the first Dutch ensigns, it was just after the winter, and the rocks were glistening with water like pearls and diamonds, like jewels. And the Paarl stayed behind as the name of the town to this day.
The majestic Paarl monument was erected in 1975, symbolizing a rich South African heritage. La Concorde, the KWV headquarters, is located on one of the original vineyards in the Paarl region.
KWV is a central cooperative. There are 5,000 producers of vine and wine in South Africa, and every one of them are a member of the KWV. We produce all products that are made from the vine, and that means brandy, spirits, even vodka, gin, sherries, ports, the whole range of products coming from the vine. Our big business really is brandy, which people don't realize. Wines, table wines are the type of thing that's got high profile. But we produce a lot of brandy. We're actually the biggest distillery in the world.
In a day and age when high technology is taking over, there is no replacing the craftsmanship that makes KWV brandies one of the leading in the world.
The color of a wine can tell you quite a story, whether it's pale or whether it's yellow or greenish light. That's the most important. And then you nose it, and then you rotate it, because the moment you rotate it, you're actually stirring it. But the most important is that you should drink the wine.
But if it's made to be drunk, why do I have a spittoon beside me?
You're very welcome to swallow it. You only have to bear the consequences. So it's only to protect you.
Do you remember when you and I were on holidays in Durban with your parents before we were married, and how much we enjoyed it? The beaches, all the entertainment, the restaurants and everything else. So to have gone back there and actually do a story on it, I really enjoyed. The Zulus with their rickshaws, people surfing, going into the shopping area, and especially going to the Indian market and bargaining. But for me, the highlight was to go to Shaka Land and see how the Zulus lived hundreds of years and what their way of life was.
Durban has everything. Durban has it all. First of all, we have an all-year-round climate. There is never real winter in Durban. And for a long, long time, the municipality have taken a very proactive view on creating for our people in Durban open spaces, if you like, lungs within the city where people get away. And here we are indeed privileged.
Durban is an attractive cosmopolitan and cultural blend. With its mixture of Victorian and Indian architecture, its parks and gardens, and its Golden Mile strip of hotels, beaches and shopping. One of Durban's most popular features is its harbor and waterfront, where you can stroll the boardwalk and enjoy the warm waters of the Indian Ocean.
All the year round we can swim, surf, fish in that wonderful thing called the sea, which is surrounding us. We have all sorts of facilities, everything that would be appropriate to a beachside city.
We'll be back with more of the Travel Magazine right after this, so stay with us.
I think if you want to see a part of Africa where it's real, the tribal dancing, you should go to Shaka Land.
Out of that 10.5 million Zulus, 85% still live in a traditional way. We must also thank King Shaka, who was the builder of the nation. From that day, he built up a nation. Up to date, the culture is still very much strong in this country.
Wherever you go as a man, you have to carry your weapon, the big shield and the proper stick, or the big
We believe
shield
that
and
if you don't
the one-
understand and respect one's culture, then at the end of the day, there will be friction. If you don't understand, you won't be able to communicate very well. So we are pleading to people to come and see this place or come and learn more about the Zulu culture. What I've been reading about the Zulu culture, now they'll see a real thing.
A guided tour through the village would enter you into the daily lifestyle of the Zulus. As night falls, the villagers gather around the campfire and enter into ritual dances of celebration to the pounding beat of the drums. These magical sights and sounds draw you into another world, the world of rhythm and mystique. For me, three of the most beautiful cities in the world are basically Hong Kong, Vancouver, and Cape Town, and not necessarily in that order. Cape Town is a magnificent city. And there is one spot where you get one of the best views of Table Mountain. What is that again?
Blaubergstrand.
Cape Town really is the nucleus of a great many things that tourists are normally interested in. Firstly, it must count as one of the most beautiful cities in the world by virtue of the fact that it is scenically beautiful. It consists of a mountain range right in the middle of the city, so to speak. It's surrounded by two oceans. It's got the most beautiful vegetation with a wide variety of flowering plants. And whatever lives here in abundance. I think that all this beautiful environment has also affected the settlers in past years to the point that they have actually created very beautiful architecture unique to this particular area, which enhances nature in so many ways. Nowhere in the world can it be more picturesque than here in Cape Town, with blue mountains, good crisp air, and lovely architecture.
Cape Town has, right since its beginning in 1652, has been a cosmopolitan community, a place where people have come from all different parts of the world and have blended and mixed with the local population and have made us a group of people who have learned to understand and to tolerate and to appreciate each other's differences, our backgrounds, our languages, our cultural differences. And it's a place where you can be regenerated, where you can get inspiration, where daily you can have a celebration. This place is just magnificent in its natural and its social setting. For me, it's a celebration, and I believe that's what makes it different, and people recognize that.
So Jake, tell me about Chapman's Peak.
Chapman's Peak is fantastic. If you have transportation when you're in Cape Town, I think that it's a must because the road winds itself around the mountain. You can stop at certain points, get a spectacular view of the ocean with Cape Town right there and ships going back and forth. I really enjoyed that.
Chapman's Peak Drive is quite magnificent. It's a road that hugs a cliffside. And so when you look down, you see sheer cliffs dropping below you and this wild sea. And when you look up, they've got those lovely cliffs and the stratas of different types of rocks, and really magnificent.
For Cape Towners, Cape Point is only an hour's drive south. But for most people, it may seem like the southernmost tip of the world.
Cape Point is a must. It's a good hour's drive from the central city area, but it's a magnificent drive. It's rugged, it's barren, it's wild, the wind blows. It's the place where two oceans meet, the Indian and the Atlantic Oceans. When you go down there, you will be inspired by the ruggedness and the barrenness of the place, and you will stand at the foot of the peninsula, and I have no doubt that visitors to Cape Point will feel a sense of exhilaration. They will see this mountain in the sea that comes down to a point, and one stands there and you feel almost a sense of this is where east meets west.
Well, Mika, what did you think of South Africa?
I think it was a wonderful trip. I always love going to the country. It is, after all, my country.
Well, that's it for this edition of the Travel Magazine. From South Africa, I'm Jake de Boer.
I'm Mika de Boer. Tot ziens.